Weekend market recap for 12/31/2021. Happy New Year! This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is the weekend recap for New Year's Eve. Hope everyone's having a great week, and let's jump into it. First, I want to talk about real quick, if you're not watching the full weekend and daily recaps, you are missing out on all the setups, all of the education, and there's tons of reviewing of the market, so you know what's going on with the market, because the market is the summation of all the parts of what's going on. So I just want to start there. Let's get into the Discord room where I just dropped this today. Here are my month-to-month calendar notes. Here is a zoom in. Be aware, January effect, mid-January running up, heavy profit taking in the middle of February. January, February should be bullish. Should be. Again, seasonality. We talk about these kind of things in the room. Just keep that in mind. Oops, sorry. I forgot to drop this gold chart again because, hey, gold is the trade. Anyway, just a tease for that for later. Hopefully people will follow up. Bitcoin, where we always start. Big cup and handle. Cup, handle. Let's zoom into handle because most people want to see what's going on. Talk about the levels matter. You know, again, I hate that I'm using TradingView. I don't have Bitcoin futures on eSignal. But yeah, the levels matter. I mean, intraday, hourly, up here. I did not think we'd cut through butter like we did, but once we did, we got cut through butter there. Bounce. And again, here's resistance. And again, remember, resistance doesn't have to be perfect. It sometimes can be close enough. You know, that's all what you're looking for is binary beginning, ending points. It looks like if you got in at 45,000, you're loving life again. I think we probably bounce into the holidays. Again, doesn't matter what I think. Have a stop. Have a plan. Know what you're going to do. Let's jump into the starter, bonds. I always talk about bonds because everybody I know has a little bit of understanding of what bonds and why low rates matter. At this point, I know this chart is sloppy, but I've just been saying that higher highs and higher lows. That's what you need to see in the bond market. Late rates are going to stay low. If you can't have high rates with record inflation, then what's going to happen if inflation moderates? Because the rate of growth will slow. I mean, it's a joke. As long as the bond market's stable, the markets don't give a shit. Bond market gets unstable, then we need to talk. The dollar, pat myself on the back, said watch out for the resistance zone. Said this candle right here was a problem. It took time to play out. I always tell people, don't always be, takes time for trades to play out. Then you saw these candles. We talked about the previous dollar starting to slap. Where do we think it's going? Minimum the 50-day, which it hit and held, which happened to be the bottom when they coalesced. I got the blue dot. That's where I think it's going. Keep it simple. The Volatility Index, if you don't know what the VIX is, watch the Back to Basics video about it. But it talks about how the volatility within the market. Volatility is up and down, but typically the market goes up slower and takes the escalator down. So as the market's rising, the volatility is decreasing. As of right now, nothing really going on with it. We talked about the W here and the big spike, the market dropping. Now you're back into just directional plays. That's what you do. Fair risk, directional plays. VIX is in those levels. There it is. SPY. Typically, again, if you watched the earlier in the week, said the Friday will probably be a sell. And it was. Again, the whole week was, Monday and then it was nothing. And sometimes that's part of what happens. But if you look at the weekly chart, could you call it like a long wick top? Boo. That's always possible. Keep it in mind. But as long as it holds up, this is the thing. It did close over weeks of highs. So you need more information. Come back. We'll talk. Again, if you're a bull, be a little wary. If you're a bear, you might have a great setup lining up. But have your stops, have your plan. Just closing over this is bullish. So it's don't be surprised if you got some chop, but also don't be surprised if the bulls come back because of the January effect and markets rip right higher. QQQ, this is, we talked about this, and what did I say? I don't like that it got up into the zone and has been weak. We pulled back today. Again, the volumes are light due to the holiday weeks. I'm not going to I'm not going to red alert, like, hey, you need to pay attention to things. Because as of right now, like with the markets, because they're just chopping out. If you look at the week, it's just a doji. I can tell you what it is from the daily, because look at that. You opened here, you closed there. Now again, is a doji on a lower high possible? Yeah, but could it be where it's like a doji like that and you come back down the levels? Doji like that, come back down to the levels, or is it doji like this before you go higher? It's an indecision candle. That's a doji. It can happen at highs and lows. If I'm a bear in tech, I feel more confident than the bear in the SPY. Let's get into gold, because I'm doing so many notes and alerts on this, and if you're not paying attention to the gold trade, I don't always recommend things aggressively, but when I do multiple videos on a topic, I know what the hell is going on. I'm going to not necessarily promote it, but I'm gonna share my voice strongly. Gold showing bow this today. You had a retest of this level again, back test the trend line, higher highs today again. The volume, it's such a big washout, and fine, I'll do it. It's been weeks. It's been literally since August of 2020. Gold's been consolidating. We're making like this. You can see it's a pennant pattern. Where you have a downside of the channel and upside. Now weekly takes weeks to resolve, but if the action is compressing, what happens after compression? Explosion. My guess is it's going much, much higher. The seasonality plays out. Should be very obvious. It will. Just keep it simple. Don't overthink things. Have your stops. Silver is another one we got aggressive as hell. We said, oh my god, double bottom, under 20, no brainer buy zone. It's still hanging and lingering. Made a higher high today. I know it was a little bit of a doji, but the 50 and the 100 day are coming in together. It might need a little bit of time, or it's if the price starts moving, the best advertisement for higher prices is what? It's always higher prices. Keep that in mind. GDX, let's get into the miners. People were saying, oh, look at the long wicks. Wick and the wick, higher highs. Again, higher highs, higher lows. Not surprised that once we got over this, we went higher today. I don't mind a doji in between the 50 and the 100 day. It seems pretty normal. Considering where it's come from, I have no problems with that. Because if the volume was higher, I'd be nervous, but it can be a continuation pattern. It's called a doji sandwich. It's a doji, sandwich between the next move. Here it is. It went down. There's a doji there. Doji here, but reversed. Again, indecision. Check back Monday, Tuesday. Let's see what's going on with the miners. If I had to guess, I think they're going higher. Look at the bottom. Let me jump back into that one real quick, because we need the GDXJ. Look at the miners. Here you go. This is the shit of dreams. Bear trap, pro gap, back test, retest. Should go higher. It's just that simple. You had a higher low too. Again, volume matters. I always say this. Volume matters. You can fake manipulate the price action, but you can't manipulate the volume. If something wants the action, what someone's willing to pay is just as important as what they're willing to pay. How much of it. So demand matters. Just keep it simple. Miners look good. I'd like to see the junior miners do a little better. I think they can start moving, but just keep an eye on it. AG, this one has been kind of silly and funny around this 11 area. We talked about professional gap, pop, double doji, gap down. Then the last 2 days action, is just under the old trend line. It's kind of negated, but this is where the biggest thing to me is this action here, making a new low, gapping back above it, and then holding. As long as you hold, the 10s, the 10s are the key. As long as it should go higher in time, I don't see why it wouldn't. So keep it simple, stupid. KL, one of our favorites. We're talking about the 200 day. Well, Eric's purchasing it here, and eventually it pays off. And now it took days, but there you go, higher highs. You bought it at 40.50. You're up almost $1.50. That's a nice trade. It depends on what your goals are, but if someone wants to pay me $1.50 per share, I will take it. I'm just drawing as we talk, just to see where the next potential trend might be, and look where it coalesces. An old swing point and downtrend, 42.70. Keep it in your watch list. Let's go to PAAS. Let's go to Panamac and Silva. Keep this one simple. It's been acting better. Again, this is a bear trap, novice gap, pro gap, chop. That's fine. It went from 21 to 26, basically. I don't know, 20-something%. You can take a pause. Pauses are normal. Letter X. Now, this is another one. Again, if you're newer to the channel, go back. That's why you watch all these videos. We talk about there's always multiple setups to keep your eye on, and when they hit, you take them. said break the downtrend. This is a big chop pattern, compression, and boom, we're making higher highs, higher lows. Not going to say anything else. Just watch the charts. Watch the videos. You'll see that this is the kind of stuff that's lingering around. Little nuggets of information. VALE. Again, we've been talking about how this has been outperforming the market. I mean, since November, this thing is up. It's chopping. It went from 11 to 14. Again, another 20-something% move. Let it chop out. Let it shake out. That's okay. Like, if it holds this level, I think you're good. If it gets, it's very obvious now to see where if it can get over, what is it, like this? Yeah, if you can get over this level, you're rocket. Next leg. Just keep it that simple. You want these binary kind of mentality swing points. Support equals resistance. Resistance equals support. Talked about AMD, and bulls are going to go nuts. Oh, you don't know anything about the company. They're doing great. I'm like, I don't give a shit about the company. I know they're doing great. I want to know what the chart's doing. Upper trend line test made a retest of the high. That could be a head and shoulders top. Notice the last 4 days, this is down for way more than the market. Now you might have something. Now again, it's diverging from the market. Tech, Qs, weakening. Just notice these things. Pay attention. Oh, sorry. MicroStrategy. This was interesting today because I think a lot of... actually, let's keep the order because people who watch this and go, oh, you didn't talk in order, they'll bitch and complain. What did we say up here? Be wary. You don't want to see a higher low because if not, it might have to back off. Again, we still think the monthly has room to run up to this level. If the January effect kicks in, I don't know why Apple wouldn't run into the CES. Like you have the Vegas technology show. I don't know if they're dropping anything, but tech could, certain tech will probably do better than others. MicroStrategy, this was interesting today because I think it's a buy down here, but I'm like, it's just bitching. It's just a pain in the ass. If you're getting low, you're good, but if it's not, you're buying up here, you're pissed. So I don't have a position. I feel for my friends who do, but at this point, just leave it alone. But watch that zone. Like if you're buying down there, have your stop and leave it alone. Here we go. Roadblocks. If you caught the massive move and you got out where we said, you're feeling happy. Again, I'm waiting for this blue zone. Down, chop, maybe one little lower low before the trend ends. Maybe like a novice gap. And then bottom. Keep in mind. The pair trade, Tesla, man, so many trolls love to troll on Tesla because they always think it goes higher, and I just hate to tell them that it's a stock. It doesn't always go up. Talked about this trend line. Rejecting. The 50-day needs to hold. 50-day hold is good. If tomorrow or if Monday this thing takes out the 50-day, please come and troll me again about how I was wrong about this because I've been right. I said, watch this trend line. It's clearly weak, I'm not in the trade personally anymore. I shorted and took some off, and the pair was to buy RIVN because RIVN's been acting well. If you bought it down here in the 93, 95, you added here at 97, you're up 6 points. You're up 6%. Tesla's down what? 2 to 3%? The leverage trade was to own more RIVN ultimately because we are bullish the markets. The pair trade's working. Again, it might not be what most people expect for a pair trade, but when you short something to long something, in the short works in the hedge. And the short is the hedge against the long typically. You're going to have more long than a short in a hedge for a pair trade. At least I will because what happens? Market usually goes up, right? You don't want to have a bigger short unless your hedge is in a bear market for another time. Another topic for another time. Because I don't think anyone on YouTube is talking about a bear market because they've never seen one. This guy has. He's been around. Fucking dinosaur, I guess, in trading ages. PENN Gaming said head and shoulders bottom. Hold the 20-day. Again, check the alerts. If you're watching to the end, you're seeing this stuff. It looks good. Think of like VPA, volume price analysis. The money market makers had to absorb all these shares. Went lower, lower, lower. You had an extreme here. A little pop in volume, but at some point they are going to mark up the price. I would not be surprised if it gets back up at least to the 70s. If it does, and you bought here in the 40s, and you bought at the 50-day or 20-day at around 50, 70s from 50, that's not a bad percentage. Some people would take that for the year. All right, Clement, let's go over EXPI because I think you said you felt like you made a mistake. Let me look real quick what your exact words were because I think you're being hard on yourself, but you said, took another tranche today in EXPI. I wonder if I should have waited more patient. Last 6 counts, they look like they might be some more buying opportunities. Shorting star fail at 20-day. Still working on VPA. Okay, VPA and probabilities. Let's get into EXPI because this is very clear. if you're buying here in the 33s, then your stop is here. If you bought up and it pulled back today, that's just the nature of the beast. It doesn't necessarily, it just means it's not ready, you know. And again, it'd be different if you were buying up here, but if you're buying at 34 versus 33, have a plan. I know sometimes that happens, and we talked about Exxon and XOP, some of these failed breakouts and backups and choppiness, and there's a million things that you don't know. So you play the probabilities, and the probabilities, if you were buying low, it's going to be beneficial to you for the long run. Because again, what do we talk about? Seasonal bull rally in real estate stocks in the first and second quarter happens every year for the most part. Just, that's what you got to assume. When it starts, how? Don't overthink it. UTHR, Mikey French, here you are, bro. We are just high and tight. Like, we got into the zone, and I know it's not a perfect line, but we're just chopping. High and tight's good. No volume down here. You should run into sellers up here. I mean, look at the volumes up here. You know, it feels like it's going to fly. You're going to turn around and the stock's going to be up 10 points. So I like it. Have a stop, have a plan. Again, there's no certainty in trading. Anyone who sells you certainty, unsubscribe, fail, like, just run away. If anyone promises you certainty in a gambling game, you are a sucker who's taking the bet, who's going to be losing in time. XOP, here's an example of failed breakout. You saw it. Now you're back testing the trend line. Now the difference between EXPI and the break point is the 20-day. Here's a trend line. So again, this is a little more static, while the 20-day is a little more fluid. You feel like it's got to test the blue zone. You know, I'd watch this. I mean, it seems very likely if the market pulls back a little bit, 90s are coming. This is a trade again. Get as close as you can to the lows. This was the first low. Here's your second low. Remember, novice gap, pro gap, backing up. Again, the volume off the lows isn't that impressive, but you never know. I mean, I think you just gotta know. Again, there might be better trades. That's ultimately what's going on. Here's ExxonMobil channeling down. We talked about it. Like, it could not clear over this channel. That was always worrisome. Again, I'm not buying it, but I'm watching it. All right. Well, again, I have to repeat myself. If you are watching all of this content, I appreciate it. Stop by the Discord room. I will gladly elaborate on anything you're asking about. If you are newer to trading, check out the Back to Basics series, the beginner stuff. I mean, again, even if you're not a beginner, just look at how someone else thinks about the markets. Check out the daily recaps. Check out the trade alerts. Again, this is where all the gold is. If you're watching these videos and you're getting to the end, you're learning a lot more about trading than watching some of these shorts. So I appreciate everyone. Happy New Year. Be safe. And we will see you next. Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right. And also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.